Hi, this is Brian DeMoe, CEO and founder of Itex. Thank you for joining me on this short seminar where we're going to talk about mitigating intrusions with online fraud, phishing attacks, spear phishing attacks, and some best practices with your password and corporate email account. Diving right into it, first and foremost, if you think an email is suspicious, call the sender to confirm its legitimacy. Calling, texting goes a long way in helping you identify if something is legitimate or if it's fraudulent. Don't use your corporate email account for personal accounts or for personal use. I use Macy's.com as an example. So if you do any shopping online, always use your personal account. And the reason why is when those portals or companies get hacked and 100 million username and passwords are stolen from their databases and sold on the dark web, the less exposure of your corporate email account in those types of breaches goes a long way in making sure that you or the organization isn't attacked. And we'll go into that a little bit further in additional slides. Ignore any unsolicited password verification or reset requests. I'm sure we've all seen it. You get an email from supposedly Amazon.com or Office 365 saying that your password's expired. Please click on this link. And what happens is it takes you to a page that looks like Amazon or looks like Office 365 with a username and password field. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to fool you into putting in your username, which is your email address in most cases, and then your old password. And all they want to do is just get your password. So if you didn't solicit a password verification or a reset request, then 99.9% of the time, those are fraudulent. And you can ignore those and delete those. Length trumps complexity. Use a phrase or lyric or anything else to remember or easy to remember. What's important about this is 10 years ago, we used to say, hey, 6-letter password with alphanumeric, maybe a special character, and you're good to go. Unfortunately, with computers becoming as powerful as they are now, having a password that's 6, 7, even 8 characters, doesn't matter if you use the letter, the number 3 instead of an E or 4 instead of an A. The password dictionaries that hackers are using to what's called brute force attack passwords they're astronomical. They're huge, and computers are powerful enough to be able to process those. So what we recommend now is you use a phrase or lyric, something easy for you to remember, but that's something that's preferably 16 to even 24 characters long. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can type a long password like that if it's a phrase. So I sing a song by The Doors to my kids every night when they go to sleep. So I have the entire song memorized, and I took a section of that song, a particular phrase. There's actually 2 sentences, and I use that as my master password for my password manager. And we'll go into that in a minute as well. Don't repeat the same password used with your corporate network account. So this is probably the most important best practice bullet that I can show you. If you're going to repeat passwords because it's convenient and it's easy for you to do, the most awful or irresponsible thing you can do is to use your corporate email account or corporate network account password as that repeating password. The reason why is going back to the second bullet. Let's say that you use your corporate email account or your corporate network account password for the account creation of Macy's.com. When Macy's gets hacked, the username, which is your email address, and the password is leaked. And that information is sold on the dark web. So if I wanted to buy, say, 50,000 username and passwords on the dark web of some breach of Macy's.com, I can now look at what passwords all these people used on Macy's. I can look at your email address and determine that you're on Office 365, quickly go to office.com, I use your email address, and then I try the password that you used on Macy's. So if you repeat the same password, now I have access into your mailbox, which is the worst case scenario. And then of course, banking websites, anything that has sensitive information. So the bottom line is, if you don't want to use a password manager, which we'll discuss here shortly, do not repeat your corporate network account, which is typically also your email account. Never, ever repeat that. That should be unique in indefinite. And then lastly, use a password manager. So password managers nowadays are extremely convenient to use. They work on class platforms. They work on your PC, on your Mac, on your tablet, on your phone. And on your phone, for instance, you can set it up so that your biometrics, your face recognition, or your fingerprint will unlock your password manager instead of having to type what we hope is a long password that you use, right? So on your computer, you only have to type in your master password and it can be easily done on your keyboard. And then there's usually like a 10 or 15-minute idle time. So if you step away from your computer, the password manager locks. But the reason why password managers are important is because they allow you to use a completely random password that that you don't even know, right? Because it's filling it in for you automatically on all of your accounts. So your corporate account, your personal accounts, everything can have a very long, complex, unique password that you never have to memorize. And that way, if one site gets hacked, that password's compromised, but it doesn't matter because it's obviously not repeated on any other account that you use. The password manager that we recommend for personal use is Lastpass. That password manager is entirely free. You can even share entries within the password manager to friends and family if you had a particular account like Hulu that you share with your friends or your family. But it's free. It works on all your devices. It's simple to use, simple to learn. And let's quickly go over terminology. The three things I like to explain are phishing attacks, which are scripted emails blasted out to millions of people. They may have your name in it just because of a scripted variable that they put in their code, but the phishing attack is not specific to you or to your company, right? It's just sent out to hundreds of millions of people. A spear phishing attack is a tailored email that's designed for a specific entity, whether that be you, your position, your title, your department, or the company. An example of that would be a person sends out a campaign of attacks that mimics, the email coming from your CFO or your CEO. Those are called spear phishing attacks. Lastly, social engineering are techniques used to manipulate and deceive to gain sensitive information. A lot of these are, hey, your password's been reset, click here. When you click here, a web page comes up that looks like, let's say, office.com or Amazon, but it's actually a cloned copy of their website. And once you put in username, which is your email address in most cases, your old password and your new password, you're just providing them freely and easily that information. So that's social engineering. Next, we're going to talk about how to spot phishing attacks. There's one important component within an email that you should always look at, just second nature, and it's called the email header. So the from name in this example is fax message, no reply, in brackets admin. And the email header is the email address that the message came from, and that cannot be faked. So the email name or the from name, I can put in my Outlook right now that my name is Bill Gates, and when I send you an email, it looks like it's from Bill Gates. But the email header cannot be modified, which means that this is always the place you should look if you suspect that an email is fraudulent. Email header will tell you all the information you really need to know. So in this example, this is an email that appears to come from eFax. It has the logo, their font, the format in the email, even the name, right, looks like it came from eFax organization. However, if you look closely at the email header, you can see that the domain name is efacks.com instead of efax. So this right here tells you that this is a fake email and that you should delete it and ignore it, right? Again, the email header can never be faked. So if you get an email, a spear phishing attack that appears to come from your CEO asking for gift cards or to wire money or whatever, provide W-2 information, always look at the email header here. If it's not your contact's actual email address, then it's 100% fake. The next thing on websites and emails that you should be aware of, a tool, is previewing an email link. So here, if you hover your mouse cursor over where it says order details, a toolbox will appear that shows you the actual address that that link will take you to. So this email or website looks like it's Amazon. It has the confirmation information, their logo, the font, the format, etc., right? But you probably look at this and you're like, I didn't order anything. So most people would be fooled and click order details because they want to know more. They want to know if Amazon charged them for a product that they didn't intentionally purchase or what's going on, right? But once you click on that, it may take you to a website that has malicious code or social engineering where you're supposed to put in your username and password. So a good way to get around this is always hover your mouse cursor over a link and preview the address. mountainrp.com is obviously not part of amazon.com. So this right here tells you that this is a fake email or a fake website that you're currently looking at. In Outlook, the toolbox comes up above your mouse cursor as shown in the screenshot. In Chrome, Firefox, and I believe Internet Explorer, the preview of a link, if you hover over it without clicking on it, shows up in the bottom left-hand corner of that window. That pretty much sums up everything you need to know about how to spot phishing attacks, how to mitigate online fraud. That concludes our video for today. I hope that the information provided helps you and protects you both on your personal and your corporate side of your online accounts. Best practices with passwords, using a password manager. We're always here for you. If you have any problems or questions, please give us a call. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.